this will be my first time. Well, not first time. That's what I'm happy about. This will be Avengers Endgame review / discussion about the movie. So for anyone who has seen Endgame, that's awesome. We can talk a little bit more, get different opinions on that stuff. And for those who haven't, stray away because this is going to get very spoiler heavy down the line. So if you have not seen Endgame, I suggest like maybe do it now. I believe they have like a 12 o'clock show right now in some theaters, so go for it. Okay, so alright, so let me start at the beginning. Since we have Iron Man, Captain America here, the stars of the movie. Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame is, let me give my first scaled response. I would give it a, and I mentioned this in Zin's stream as well, I would give Avengers Endgame I would say like an almost 10 out of 10 or maybe like a 9 out of 10, because it's like it's really good. Like I liked it a lot. Celestials maybe being created from subatomic particles that destroyed left in the universe by Thanos. Good question. We'll get to that plans. But I liked everything about the film. I liked the pacing. I liked the for Avengers movies, and apparently Endgame wasn't an S tier, more like an A/B tier. SB tier, not A tier. Not S tier, but A/B tier. It's good, I'll definitely say that. Yeah, it's good. Like, I give it like a solid like 9 out of 10. Like, it's a great film. Like, it's a movie that it's like a movie that's ever since like, because of like the previous movie, which was Infinity War and then Endgame. It's a film that commemorates 10 years of Marvel Cinematic Universe films and just like combined everything together into one beautifully crafted sandwich, you know? Like, it's all the characters that you know and love. It's all of these character interactions that you get from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's just so beautifully driven. Like it is really good. But although I think the movie wouldn't be top for decades, think what other movies could even touch it. Nothing Solo would draw this much attention for 10 years of years, yeah. But it's like the build up to it, like it built up like fucking like a lot of movies just building up to the climactic finish of the Infinity Stone saga, which it did. Like getting all the stones, what like we didn't even know about the stones until like the later half of, I think, was it phase 2 or was it phase like 3? Like I'm not really sure, but we get the hint of the stones when the first Avengers came out. We got a little bit with afterwards. Like the first phase was just setting up the heroes, and the second phase after the first Avengers was just getting all the stones. This is one of the most gross movies. Yeah, like Avengers Endgame is right now is like the second highest grossing film, in between third place, which was Titanic, and first place, which was Avatar, James Cameron Avatar. But we won't be getting sequels for that film until like 2021. That's how far we have to wait for like the James Cameron blue Avatar looking dudes. But Endgame does have its like, albeit it's a good film, it does have its like little plot holes and like all of it, and like some flaws that really make you want to scratch your head a little bit, you know? Like, of course, being Well, the thing is, for Endgame, like, the whole gimmick of that film is about time travel. And characters like Loki, right? Loki. And time travel is one of the biggest, it's not one of the biggest, yeah, let me rephrase that. It's like, time travel is like a good movie device, it's like a good movie plot device, but only if it can be written well or like effectively done well. And they're like, it's always like an interesting plot device, because in time travel, when you go back to the past and try to change something from the past and come back to the future is, or to the present is not how it would look like from what you're living in. It's a little bit different. The plot holes are just things they can't explain yet for future movie plots, to be honest. Yeah, that's true. I mean, for Endgame, we just like did time travel by doing like quantum realm stuff, which was that stuff say. But this will be spoiler heavy. But that's like very spoiler heavy. Let me backtrack a little bit. Endgame is good. Like, it's like a movie that, it's like the standard movie that like builds up, like sets up everything, like what the mission is, like what do we have to do after like all our friends just die, vanish into like the ether, and so we have to like do all these missions, all this like mandatory stuff that like we have to get this stone, we have to like do this. It's like only one chance, and this is all we get. But then we got like multiple chances, as we can like tell, because using time travel and using like Pym particles, shit like that, that's what they were covering. That type of stuff. So plot devices, plot devices, but like it was just like jumping in time through like many memorable moments of the Avengers movies, like being the first Avengers when they go back, and Vormir, and seeing Red Skull Hugo Weaving again, Hugo Ghost, you know? All these past experiences makes you want to like relive the entire thing. The music is pretty good. Like the climactic showdown was pretty badass. Like it made me think of like a Lord of the Rings moment. Ending is like very somber, but it impacts you hard, you know, like it's a good effective impact. But okay, that's like all that stuff. So like story-wise and stuff. So I don't get how we didn't see Black Widow and Soulstone, yet Thanos saw Gamora. Or maybe it was Thanos dying and he dreamt that he healed himself with the stones when he created the garden. That could be, you know. That's like one possible like explanation. Or one possible like question. Yeah, but the beginning of Endgame was that we saw Hawkeye's family biting the dust. That's very cold-hearted, but it's true. Like, it's a very good analogy, like biting the dust, literally. Then it shifts to the Avengers. Avengers like living at that moment, like what happened after the Thanos snap, you know. Then Captain Marvel comes by. Oh no, it was Tony Stark playing like this, like paper soccer with Nebula, which it was pretty cute, but it was a mopey start for everybody. Yeah, it was a mopey start for everybody. Yeah, until like Miss Punch-a-Lot, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, whatever the fuck, comes in and like saves Nebula and Tony from like the void of space. They all regroup, they all get their like family on, but it was like weird seeing Tony being all defeated. Like he's like Cloud in Final Fantasy VII when after the first encounter with the North Crater, Cloud just becomes so poisoned. There's a lot of explaining to do when she was always gone. Yeah, she got lots of explaining to do, you know. But when they come back, they all like regroup and everybody besides Tony tries to plan what's their next move. How do we take down this son of a bitch? How do we take down this big purple bastard? But Tony's like, man, I'm fucking done with this shit. I lost, alright? I saw a kid vanish before my very eyes. My favorite kid. Mr. Pete Parker. He's gone before my eyes. I'm not doing this shit again. No. Like, let's just not fight the big purple bastard himself. So the rest of the team goes to the garden planet that Thanos was residing in. We see him. Hold up. Oh, excuse me. We see Farmer Thanos picking out some fruits, making some mean ass soup until like Captain Marvel like thrusts her way to Thanos and then like pins her down. Then we find out that Thanos used second snap to destroy the stones. Like, I used the stones for the stones. Pretty punny, but it was good. 4 suits in one movie. Oh really? 4 suits in one movie. But Thanos says he's destroyed the stones for the stones, like I'm inevitable, that horse shit. Mad Lunatic always sees himself as a hero. And Thor decapitates his head because he's angry that he failed yet again. And so after that transitions to like 5 years later, which is kind of like the same device used in Venom, which was like after the symbiote crash. It was 1 year later when the symbiotes first arrived on Earth. And one of them, Riot, just possessed that one police chick, and she was just like walking around until like the middle and final act for like 1 year, and like what the fuck happened, you know? So everybody's just like pretty defeated, pretty sad, like some of them not giving up hope until Ant-Man comes by and comes up with the greatest way to like save the universe and get back Thanos, which was time travel from the quantum realm. And so that would be like the main motivation for the Avengers team going forward. And so they tried to recruit everybody, Hawkeye being a cold, merciless killer because his family died. Tony, still being scared, is with Pepper and her daughter Morgan Stark, and who else? And Thor's the funniest one. Thor is the funniest one of the transition. You expect to see like Thor like, oh, he set up a kingdom. He like built a town with all of like his native Asgardians and like in a makeshift town in like Aquamanville. Like that's what it literally is. It's like Aqua Beer Belly Boy. Yeah, exactly. He didn't get slim or buff. He just became fat. he is a fat boy. He's a fat as fuck boy. I loved it. Like you see like Thor, like you know him, he's just like chiseled from like the down under, and then he gains so much weight from drinking and partying and eating. So that was like legit ass funny, you know. And so they try to get him back into Thor, and they literally did like if anybody has seen Big Lebowski, if you see still looking badass, still gonna look badass, nah. Like Thor is like Jeff Bridges' character from The Big Lebowski. Yeah, he's the dude. He's the dude Lebowski. Like, he's just like a lazy asshole that always has to have beer in his hand. And like, well then again, Jeff Lebowski has like always a white Russian. In Thor's case, it's just any beer he finds. But they recruit everybody. Some of them were not willing, so after some persuasion and some friendship bullshit, not like Kingdom Hearts friendship bullshit, they go make a plan to like save Thanos. Oh, and also tame Hulk, like just big as fuck Bruce Banner, just with the Hulk skin. So I'm like, that's the most weirdest part to me. Like, I've always known and I've always liked Hulk as like this big fucking, you know, like this rage bot of like anger and gamma radiation. You never see him Professor Hulk is best Hulk. Professor Hulk best Hulk. But I always like Hulk screaming and smashing, not dabbing and like taking selfies with kids. Like, that's just fucking weird, man. I don't like that. That's just ew. And they ride that movie through and through. And they even play on that in like in the later section of the film. But anyway, everybody gets nitty and gritty. And everyone goes on a mission to collect the stones, one way or the other. Hulk out. My god, Hulk out. That's really fucking funny. That's really funny, but like weird at the same time. Like, it doesn't go well. But excuse me. And so by some sheer bullshit friendship horseshit, everybody gets back together. Not friendship horseshit. Tony Stark develops the solution for the quantum realm travel, like just build a fucking GPS through the quantum realm and then go through time travel shit. So they do that, and each goes in their own mission to collect the stones. First team goes to the first Avengers film. Second team goes to the beginning of Guardians. Third team goes to Morag, and then the fourth team goes to Vormir. And so each one has their mission until like the climactic finale. So the first one, they go to New York, which was the first battle between the Chitauri and the Avengers. And so after the battle, they capture Loki, and what was it? Thor and Hulk. No. Yeah. My sentences. That Nebula was partly BS, by the way. Oh yeah, it is definitely like BS. Oh yeah, Tony and Scott go go try and retrieve the Tesseract, which still had Space Stone. But what happens is that because Hulk had to take down the stairs and didn't like going to stairs, he would have preferred going by the elevator. He just goes down the stairs and just like bops Present Stark. Just bops Present Stark. While past Stark was part of the plan to get like Stark into like a spasm by removing some coil in his like reactor heart, and to get the Tesseract, but Hulk just busted through the door like Mr. X style, like and just knocked open the Tesseract and gave it to Loki, and then like space jumps, which is like, that's one of the plot holes. Like, since it's about time travel and like temporal causalities, which is like if anything you do in the past, it will like affect the future. I think that they tried to develop this hero ego with Banner or Hulk. Everyone else had it. Banner didn't. He didn't have control or get credit. Now the new hero ego went too far on the spectrum and became cringy for that reason. But it was still the right move in my opinion. Yeah, it is pretty cool, but I'll still say it with a little bit of like the bias I have about towards the character. Like I like seeing him like rage out and smash, take out bigger opponents. Like, isn't it like the more angrier he gets, the stronger he becomes? That was like the old logic for Hulk, but now it's just like more tame and more smart, which is like that's okay, but it still felt weird to me, you know. Second team was Rocket and Thor. Which Rocket I still love to this day because he's just some wisecracker son of a bitch, you know. Like he makes Guardians of the Galaxy, not Peter Quill, because Peter Quill I hate for being that dumb stupid idiot, taunting Thanos and just like taunting him more because you killed Gamora. You know, like get over it, man. Rocket and Thor are iconic. Hell yeah, they're iconic, man. So Rocket and Thor goes to Asgard to retrieve the Reality Stone. It's an idiot I love. In this movie, Thor was drunk 90% of the movie. Yeah, and then the 10% was like saved at the end when he actually fights Thanos. So Thor and Rocket go to Asgard to retrieve the quote unquote ether from Jane. S to go. He was still drunk. He was still drunk then. Yeah, true. But what else? Oh, retrieve the ether. Swear to God. Oh, swear to God. But Thor has he just leaves because he doesn't feel like he wants to do this. So he meets his mom over there, who was still alive at the time, and so everybody. At least, well, half of the two locations that the Avengers go to, New York and what was it, Asgard? Well, first one was New York because Hero Hulk went to the New York Sanctum to get the Time Stone, and the Master, who was still alive at the time, she was fighting off the alien invasion, and then Hulk comes in and is just like, here, I'm taking the Time Stone. And she insightfully says, like, I know who you are. You come from a different timeline. And she has, like, the same bullshit as she did from the first Doctor Strange film. Like, if this stone gets into the wrong... it's honor bound. Like, they have to protect the Time Stone. I said time scone. Time scone, man. I bet it's delicious. Time stone from enemy hands. But after Hulk persuades her, she gets the Time Stone so that they're not gonna take away the stone, like literally. They're gonna take the stone for the time being and then put it back. You know, like reset the time. Not like reset the time, but like keep time on track. You know. Just like get everybody back. And so that was the first one. The second one, dude, I'm hyped for Guardians Volume 3. There's so much to be introduced. I hate Suicide Squad as it pushed off filming till 2020. Yeah, that's what James Gunn is gonna do for his Guardians 3. It has to do Suicide Squad, and then is it Suicide Squad or is it Birds of Prey? I think it's like Birds of Prey. And then Guardians 3. I don't mind the wait as long as he builds up good. It's going to be called as Guardians. right? And the Asgard one was that mom knows that Thor is from a different timeline. That because obviously she notices Thor having a big gut and like a long ass beard and everything, and that she's fine with content to being her death. But Thor's like, no, mom, I gotta save you. So they both got that. They got the Tesseract, the Mind. Oh, but then, oh yeah, they didn't get the Tesseract yet, and they didn't get the Mind. They got the spear for Loki, but they just have to get the Tesseract. I mean, Tony and Steve, because of that fuck up that happened in New York, they had to go back further in time to get more Pym particles and return back to the present. So they did, and they got both the Tesseract and the Mind Stone after some encounters from Tony, which was his dad, and Steve, which was Peggy Carter, his love interest. So they both got the stones back. So they both got both the stone and the Space Stone and the Mind Stone back, and they got the Time Stone. All that's left was the oh, and the Reality Stone. So all that's left was the. I wonder if the split timelines created by the original quest for stones were erased, as all of them were returned beforehand. But what would have happened in between that time? Maybe in the Marvel What If series. That could be. That could be an interesting segment. Like, what would happen in between, you know? And so, they got 4 stones. So all that's left is the Power Stone and the Soul Stone. So Power Stone first. They got that, knocking out Peter Quill while he was doing his dance, and they got the Power Stone by opening the temple. Got it by opening the temple, and but what happens then is what Amazing Stuff said is fucking Nebula being like a big BS, because like there's current Nebula and there's past Nebula, and because of that, past Nebula gets like a shock in her like circuitry and like shows visuals of like current memories conflicting with past Nebula. So because of that, Thanos knows how he triumphed and like how these bitch ass Earthrealmers are trying to steal the stones from him. And so that's how like Thanos will come to fight the Avengers again. And but the Power Stone was acquired. All that's left was the Soul Stone, and the Soul Stone, that was like the weakest part, you know? Like that was the weakest part, because in order to get the Soul Stone, that was like in Vormir, where Hugo Weaving Skullface over there tells him the conditions to get the stone. It's like a soul for a soul, and it's literally the same thing from the past film when Thanos threw off Gamora to get the Soul Stone. And so they fight each other, and ultimately Black Widow sacrifices herself to get the Soul Stone, which I'll tell you right now, guys, I'm happy that Black Widow died. I'm happy that she died based on my personal bias with the character. Dude, in the premiere, I was so mad that Nebula just didn't go back as soon as she could, instead of trying to warn Clit and Black Widow. Like, Thanos didn't even go for them. Exactly, like, they didn't even, like, go for them. They're just like... Oh. He didn't even like try to go after them, which is like, fuck, man. Because I'll tell you right now, like, I'm fine with Black Widow in the films, but excuse me. I'm fine with Black Widow's. Black Widow didn't have to die. For me, it's good because, like, because of the game I'm playing, because I'm a Marvel vs. Capcom fan. What the reason is, like, let me segue a little bit into that topic. Let me segue into a little bit of Black Widow and into Marvel vs. Capcom. So the reason why I hate her. So the reason why I hate Black Widow is because of, like, this uneven distribution of, like, Marvel characters against Capcom characters in this game. She was added there as an extra slot to the Marvel cast, and, like, Capcom and Marvel approved of that decision in Season 1 DLC launch. But everybody who at the time was believing in the leaks, albeit leaks are leaks, so it's like 50-50. There was going to be Gil from Street Fighter 3rd Strike, or like Asura, or like Lady, like another cool ass character. But no, Marvel pulled out a last minute bitch stunt and then put this lady in and removed like a potential Capcom character to the side and never be seen again. Fuck Black Widow. I do not care. She replaced a good ass Capcom character unjustly just to have her in the game. That I cannot forgive that easily. I can like her in the movies. It's fine. It's totally fine. I can sympathize with her a little bit, but not to MVCI. So at the theater I was like, okay, good. She ruined my favorite series by putting that last minute thing. Albeit Infinite is already like a travesty on its own with like the roster choice and everything. Albeit I still love it, but that bullshit. No. There was even other suggestions that like Edward Falcon from Power Stone was going to be in the game, but no. Marvel said, oh, the name Falcon conflicts with our other Marvel vs. Capcom hero, Sam Wilson Falcon. I'm like, I don't like Falcon! Honestly, I say the same, but what character do you get with the deluxe edition? With the deluxe edition, you get like the season pass, so that includes the last 6 characters at the bottom. So you get like Sigma, Monster Hunter, Winter Soldier, Black Widow, Venom, and Black Panther. That's what's included in the deluxe edition. And some available costumes that you can get for each character. So like deluxe costumes and all that stuff. So if I select Venom right here, he has like vanilla skin and the anti-venom skin. So you would get like all these stuff. And for like some, like let's say Dante, you get like vanilla Dante and you get DMC Dante, which I was like shocked because this looks better than like the vanilla version. It's just okay. All right, I'm done with my tirade. Back to the film. God, I'm gonna make that a highlight. So Hawkeye gets the Soul Stone. They all come back, but some changes. Black Widow dead. Nebula is past Nebula because current Nebula is captured. And so what Nebula does is like use the quantum leap to summon the Decatron, Thanos' ship, and then rain down on the Avengers. But a little bit before that, Thanos bombs the Avengers home. Hulk puts on the Infinity Gauntlet and puts on all the stones, but it's consuming his left arm. So he, as quickly as he can, he does the snap so that something happens, but nothing else really happens. But Scott sees something in the distance. It worked, but then of course Thanos and his big freaking ship like bombs down Avengers tower or Avengers site, and he lands there and invades. So the next part would be Iron Man, Cap, and Thor duking it out with Thanos and his like Darth Maul saber, albeit not a lightsaber, but it's still pretty badass. Like 2 broadswords in one, and he wields that efficiently. So the big fight ensues. Thanos and the Avengers are like one-offing each other. Like one has the priority while the other has like an upper priority. With like one of the big shockers was that Captain America wielding Ymir, Thor's hammer, Thor's first hammer. And like Thor nodding off like he is worthy, he is the chosen one. So each one has like their own hammer. And that shit. But they all eventually get overpowered by Thanos because he's just too fucking good. Like he's just this big fucking beefcake. What happened to that damn overpowered ass sword in Infinity War? Was there an overpowered ass sword in Infinity War? I don't remember that. I don't remember that at all. I might have to like watch it again just to see where that sword is. But Thanos gains the upper hand. The axe? I don't remember he had an axe. Maybe it was in the beginning. Yeah, it was in the beginning. Yeah, he did like have an axe. Like he had a huge ass axe. No, I'm talking about Thanos' sword in Endgame. Oh, that's what I've been saying. The Darth Maul saber. That fucking like Darth Maul saber, but not lightsaber, you know. He just like used it for like the remainder of like the 25%, the later like what was it? The last part of the film, and he was just like wrecking shop. He was just like wrecking house. And because of how Thanos' strength is, he's just like this big fucking beefcake. Everybody's down, everybody's like hope is lost, and then like and he Thanos breaks Captain America's shield. Like it is broke. But what happens is that Cap hears a call from Sam Falcon, and it's like, Cap, do you need assistance? And then like a magic portal opens up, and it's like the most celebrated like intro, which was like for sure, I believe. Really? Oh wow. Okay. A magic portal opens, and it's Black Panther T'Challa with Shuri and Okoye giving the Wakanda chant, and like reinforcements arrive, and every single somebody and famous somebody from Infinity War and past movies all come in to help the current Avengers, which is like this badass scene of like everybody coming back. The Guardians, Doctor Strange, Wong and his disciples, Spider-Man with the spider suit armor, Valkyrie, dude, literally like everyone. It's like that's what I would call like, that's awesome to me, because it's like the equivalent of like the Lord of the Rings armies. Like it's the mortals, the elves, the dwarves, the eagles, every no goddamn race from the MCU just coming in and just fight Thanos' army. Scarlet Witch, Bucky, everyone erased by the Thanos snap, revived from the Hulk snap. And so they charge in Lord of the Rings fashion, and just like go ape shit, you know? That was pretty awesome. Like, that's what I liked. That's one of the things I liked in the film. When did Thanos actually put on the gauntlet then, if in 2014 we see Thanos carrying no gauntlet around like we see in end credit scene of Agent Ultron, I believe? Maybe just wearing it as a prop? Like just prepping himself like, alright bitches, it's time for my mission. I better go do this shit myself. That was like the end credits. Excuse me. Everybody's fighting. Everybody has their quirky remarks. Spider-Man, my personally, being the best one. Then Aid comes in, which was Captain Marvel. Like, that's the biggest like what the fuck of the movie, because like Captain Marvel was there at the beginning of the film, and throughout the middle she's not there. And at the end she comes, and breaks everybody there, you know? Like, that's like a giant, like, what the fuck was she doing at the middle? Shit, man. She must be having a drink like Thor. And then there's like a hot potato or hot gauntlet with the Avengers and Thanos, with the heroes and Thanos, like just trying to get the gauntlet away from Thanos, but eventually comes to don't forget the most important part. Oh shit. Yeah, I said that's in Cap wielding the hammer. Oh wait, there you go. Cap wielding the hammer, yeah, that was pretty good. But and then what else was there? Oh, Thanos puts on the gauntlet, fights Captain Marvel. She overpowers him a little bit, but then throws her ass around. Then it's like a fight to get Thanos out of the snap, but Doctor Strange does some magic and plots with Iron Man, and so when Thanos tries to do the snap, all the stones have been moved to Tony's hand, and so what he does is his snap, and his snap was the vanishing. How he experienced the vanishing happened to Thanos. Like, oh, you took away my family, motherfucker? Now I'm gonna take away you, bitch. Like, so Thanos experiences the vanishing. So what he does is erase Thanos and his army from existence, but at the cost of Tony himself. Because of using the snap and it causes so much strain on a mortal, he immediately dies afterwards. And first people that mourn him were Spider-Man, Rhodey, and Pepper. Which Pepper was there, and Pepper was really awesome because she puts up like the Iron Maiden costume, the Iron Maiden suit, and just like whooping ass with her husbando. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. Husband and wife like battling an army. That's pretty dope. And so everybody like says their goodbye, you know. And you know, I felt really emotional for between Peter Parker and Tony Stark, because to me Tony Stark was Spidey's second Uncle Ben, you know? Like, he's the second Uncle Ben Parker for him. Like, he's been guiding him, although he didn't actually like guide him or teach him anything meaningful, but it felt like another Uncle Ben for me. And it was super impactful that Spidey sees like Mr. Stark like that, you know? Like, fuck, man, although in the Spider-Man film they didn't say how Uncle Ben like died. I'm pretty sure it's like universal. Got shot by a mugger, so that's what caused Pete to become Spidey. But Tony was what Peter wanted to be. Yeah, exactly. But it was still like super impactful. Like, I felt it to my core because, albeit I'm a big Spider-Man fan, like I know a little bit more of Spidey than the other Marvel heroes. Because Spider-Man was like big at the time of the 2000s. There was like the Sam Raimi trilogy, and there was like the excuse me. There was the animated series. There were like 2, 3, 4 animated series, and then there was the second adaptation with like Andrew Garfield. But I'm like a Spider-Man fan through and through. And so that scene was like super impactful for Spider-Man, you know, and just impactful for everyone else in general, because like Iron Man was the first hero of the entire MCU, and he sacrificed himself to do so in order to erase Thanos from history. Spectacular Spider-Man was fire. Yes, Spectacular Spider-Man was fire, man. Too bad we don't get like a third season, because the writers and the producers were just like laid off. They like canceled. So all we get is like seasons 1 and 2. But after the Tony snap, everybody goes back to their lives, normal lives. Hawkeye back with his family, Peter going back to school, Thor being a part of the Guardians now, which is like pretty freaking hilarious, and just like one-upping Peter Quill a lot. Like, I'm the captain. Hey, I get to be the captain. No, I get to be the captain. Let's have a knife fight to be the captain. Like, no knife fights, but I know I'll win, motherfucker. That was really funny. But the impactful one was the Tony Stark funeral at his lakeside shore. That was pretty impactful. Like, everybody were important to Stark. But I did notice there was like one teenage boy standing around like behind the Guardians. No, not the Guardians, but behind Sam, Wanda, and Bucky. It was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, right there, right in front of like the log cabin. And so I thought, maybe it's that boy from Iron Man 3, like the little boy that he was helping out, gives Tony like a Dora the Explorer watch. Like that kid. Maybe like that kid grew up from that time. It took like what, 6-7 years? And that kid like grew up and attended Tony's funeral. Maybe that was the same guy. That was like, because they showed him off for a little bit. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I never seen this son of a bitch before. I'm like, wait, is this kid from Iron Man 3? It is. Holy shit. I don't know, maybe that's my personal take on it. But what happens after is that everybody says their sayings and phrases and all that stuff. And oh god. And that's it for the Infinity Saga. Infinity Saga, all the stones are left in their original places, some way or some time. And Cap is the one to do it, but after Cap does that, he places all the stones. He stays with Peggy, the love of his life, and he grows old at a shore. And so what he does, he passes on the his shield, the OG shield that he had in his time, to Sam Wilson. And so he becomes the next Captain America. Which that in lore is correct, right? Lance? You might know. After Steve Rogers, it passes on to Sam Wilson, right? He becomes the next Captain America. I'm pretty sure he does. That is correct. Yeah, like that's in lore wise. That's like what happens. I mean, there are other Captain Americas, but the one true thing. Okay, he is. That's good. Yeah, and so he does that, and everyone goes back to their lives, and the end credits pull in with Peggy and Steve like doing their like 1970s dance, whatever the fuck it was. And so that was the movie. And while we were there, everyone was hoping for like a post-credits scene, but it was just a regular credits scene. That's just like a tribute to all the characters that were in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And so that was a good, nice touch. No post-credits scene though, because that is the end of that saga, so we'll jump right into the next one after like Far From Home and whatever else that was there. I wonder what they're gonna do with the Disney Plus series with Winter Soldier and Falcon, with these characters are soon not to be those faces, and become different egos. And yeah, that's the end of the movie, and I liked it a lot. Like, I liked it. I'll still say it. It's a 9 out of 10. It has its obvious flaws. But it's still pretty good. The obvious ones for Endgame was like the lead actors, which was Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, passing on the roles, or like one of them dying and the other passing on his legacy to another character, because their contracts are up, I believe. They publicly stated like many moons ago that like their contract is done with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so they won't be doing any more films, any more Marvel films, like, because that's the end of their shtick. They'll do some other roles, like who knows what they'll do. So now it will be up to like the next generation of heroes to like be the next Avengers and fight on the next threat. But yeah, I don't know where they'll go from like now, because for the next Marvel film, it will be Spider-Man Far From Home, and that's like a Spider-Man-esque Spider-Man film with a little bit of Avenger nuance to it. Oh, excuse me. But I'm wondering what that will be like. Cause in terms of Marvel, like, albeit we have the TV series like Winter Soldier, Falcon. Is there a Black Widow film coming? I mean, the character just died, but are we gonna get like a Black Widow film? I'm pretty sure we will, though. God. Sneezy again. Shit. Maybe because I've been wearing this pants. Hold on a sec, guys. Let me change my pants. Oh, God. Okay, there you go. Good. Well, I changed like my pants. But yeah, just wondering like what they're gonna do from now on, you know, like now that the Infinity War is done and like there's like a spoiler ban lifted, so everybody can talk about Infinity War now. I mean, albeit like 2 weeks, but still. Because, like, the next one is Far From Home. Well, in terms of Marvel, not Cinematic Universe, but just Marvel, there's, Far From Home, Dark Phoenix, New Mutants. Like, in Infinity War, T'Challa calls Bucky the White Panda or something. White Big Jungle Cat, which in the comics is T'Challa's stepbrother, as his parents crash landed in Wakanda and his father adopted him and becomes White Panda, so I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, like, let's see like what happens afterwards, because it's all up in air on like what the next phase is. Like, to me, my personal opinion on like what the next phase is, like we stopped Thanos, so now let's go for something bigger and better, because now Disney has like 20th Century Fox in their hands, so they can start implementing, hey, let's put in the X-Men there, let's put in the Fantastic Four there, let's put in those cats in there. So maybe we can have something like Galactus as like the next phase villain. How cool will it be like for all the Avengers, including like all the X-Men? Because as you stated, Lance, the snap did create like a multiverse. Like, there are many people coming. They were like, because of that snap, they're like multi-dimensional like rifts or portals. So there could be more people, or like people from another universe to come into that Earth, you know. So I would like that. So that would be like an easy way to like get in, like, oh, the X-Men are here, you know. And like, oh, the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom, those cats. But I would really like a Galactus theme phase, you know. That would be really cool. Black Widow's movie is basically confirmed. Okay. Okay, sure. I mean, I like it for a film, but I won't like the character. But, yeah. I did like it. Just like thinking about what's going to be lying ahead for the MCU, like, now. Because there will be Guardians 3, there will be Far From Home. I'm not sure there will be like anything else besides that. I think there's going to be another Black Panther 2, a Black Panther movie, like a sequel to that movie, because it's so fucking good. They can introduce the mutants from the gamma rays after Snap or through interdimensional travel. Doctor Strange 2. Oh yeah, Doctor Strange 2. Yeah, that's what's... How will that work? Because I love Doctor Strange, and what happened in the events of like the first film, you know, the master, the Great Master dies, and Baron Mordo becomes the villain. Like, what will happen after? Because the good master will be like alive at this new timeline, and Baron Mordo will not go evil, or at least like we don't know. But then again, realities are like reset. But then again, not like reset, but like realities are like stuck to the current timeline. So maybe, you know. But it's like still though, that's like the biggest thing about like this movie plot hole wise, is like the whole time travel element through the quantum realm. Like, I understand you're like getting all the stones and like returning them back, but all those encounters, like all those like faces that you see and interact with, those will have like ripple effects. Those will like change history one way or the other, albeit a slight difference, but they will like change one way or the other, you know. Some will be slightly different. Some things will be slightly different than what you know currently. That's my take on it. That's my take on that whole like time travel element to it. And in that movie, there's a villain I forgot about that involves interdimensional travel. Not Doctor Doom. I forgot who it is, but maybe that's how they go into the power moves of F4 and X-Men. Rumored villain. Yeah, maybe like a interdimensional villain that like controls all dimensions, you know. But hey, it's all like up in the air though. We don't know what's gonna happen until we actually see it and like hear like press footage on that stuff, you know. Just like what's done is done. Like, again, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, they're done with their roles, so they won't be doing any more Marvel films for like until we can get like cameo appearances. Speaking of cameo appearances, my boy Stan Lee, yet another cameo appearance, and it's always so good. And he'll have another in Far From Home, I believe, because Endgame and Far From Home are like his last two appearances. Well, with Far From Home, that one will be his last cameo appearance, because he filmed all of them before his death. But I'm just like, Stan Lee is in Endgame. Yeah, he's in Endgame. What he's in an Endgame scene where Tony and he's in the scene where Tony and Steve go back to 1970 to retrieve the Tesseract and the Mind Stone again. I'm just obsessed to know what's next. Oh, that time, yeah. Yeah, we're all obsessed to know like what happens next, you know, like what's gonna be the next big threat that challenges our world. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. All we have to do now is just go to a Reddit channel and then post up phase 4 theories, or phase 2, which was entirely phase 1, or the next saga. Yeah, next saga. What is the next saga? What else is there to talk about? We did talk about the We did talk about the movies. We did talk about the TV series. Oh, and because of like how Endgame did, and like all the Endgame stuff, all the reveals, all like the story stuff is over. I'm kind of secretly hoping that now that now that Disney owns 20th Century Fox and Marvel is like done with the Infinity War saga, come out on DVD so I can get the Infinity Saga set. Gonna have to watch every movie from 10 years. From Vanilla Iron Man to Endgame. How much is that set, by the way? I'm pretty sure it's like really expensive. But yeah, that's my take on Endgame. It's a really good film. I really liked it. 9 out of 10. Obvious plot holes. Just like the biggest things for all of us now is to like what happens next. For me, I don't mind like what happens next. Whatever they come up with is whatever they come up with, to be all honest. It doesn't, for me it doesn't really matter that much. You know, like, just don't pull a Boruto. Oh god, no. Just don't pull a Boruto. Prices aren't out yet. It's like at least going to be 100 plus. Yeah, yeah, I can pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. Yeah, just like wondering what's gonna happen next. For me, again, it really doesn't matter because what I want for after Endgame is like gamer related stuff, because there is an Iron Man VR and there's going to be a Square Enix Avengers game, so that's going to be in the works. And what I really want, and what I want out of like 14 million, like the Doctor Strange survival rate, is that I want a new Marvel vs. Capcom game. Like, I want that. There's been like rumors and speculations that like, oh, Marvel 4 is coming, but like those are all like rumors and just like wishful thinking. But, and I'm like the wishful thinker, like I want another Marvel vs. Capcom game, you know, as long as like the Capcom fighting game division does do right, like, and not just like entirely focus on Street Fighter. Like, they could come back. Like, they've been coming back with their single player IPs and multiplayer IPs, like Devil May Cry 5 and Resident Evil and Monster Hunter World. Like full games, I mean, Lance, full games. Not like apps. I mean, apps, like, I don't really care as much because Marvel is already making bank with like Future Fight and like their Defense and Shield Strike or Defensive Force or whatever the fuck that is. They're already making good with that. I'm talking about like full games, like full console games, because there's already an Iron Man VR game that will be coming out, and there's like a Avengers RPG made by Square Enix. So those two will be coming. And of course there's Marvel Ultimate Alliance Black Order. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, I believe, Black Order. Yeah, that's the third one after Ultimate Alliance 2. And that game already has X-Men in there. So the games are like slowly paving way to having X-Men back. But I want there to be like a Marvel vs. Capcom, but like done well, you know, not called Infinite, maybe like MVC 4. I've been preaching they need to make a Marvel Universe game like Smite. Imagine the possibilities. Not like a big Smite fan, but that would be pretty cool. Like have like a MOBA of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Have like a Marvel Universe style Smite game, or Smite style universe game. That would be pretty cool to many. But I would really want like an MVC4, man. Like I want it, like my body wants it. It's been like too long. We need to have like our Capcom fighting game stuff back, because after like this quarter, or like or into the coming next quarter, Capcom will like not have any good AAA titles. They won't have any good IPs to like keep them up. I mean, yeah, we have like Devil May Cry 5 that will keep us like long and happy, but so far it's just whatever next release they have is just the Monster Hunter World expansion pack Iceborne, and that's it. We have no news of like what Capcom AAA budget game are they going to make next. It's all like a mystery now. Maybe like Tekken Cross Street Fighter, because Harada did state that like he will be into making a Tekken Cross Street Fighter. That one cancel game that really didn't work out, but he could do it again. No, like that's what I like. My main interest lies. What will happen to like the gaming stuff for Avengers? What will happen to the Marvel Cinematic Universe afterwards? And mainly I just want like the Capcom fighting games to like either have Marvel vs. Capcom like revamped again with the right shit this time, like X-Men and Fantastic Four, and like celebrated Capcom characters that weren't in MVC3 and MVC4, MVC Infinite, back into a new one. Or you can have like a Capcom All-Stars fighting game, like a Smash style Capcom All-Stars game. Like have Street Fighter, Darkstalkers, Devil May Cry, Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, Captain Commando, Strider, Cyberbots, Mega Man, Ruby Heart, all that stuff, you know, like Capcom, give us that, you know. Marvel needs to invest into a game and listen to fans. There are so many good ideas, and if they even just gave us what we wanted, not beating around the bush, we would be happy, and it would be a hit and last for years and let it die out. Yeah, that would be good. Like, oh god, we need to have like a resurgence of like the gaming division from either both Marvel and or Capcom. Like, we would like that. Please like make your games good. Make like a game that's like good and like that will listen to fans. That's the thing that we need to like have for our community, you know. Alright, so that's it. That's the review. That's my review. That's our review. Our talks, discussions, all that stuff.